The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Glory to you, Lord. Now on the Sabbath day, Jesus had gone for a meal to the house of one of the leading Pharisees, and they watched him closely. There in front of him was a man with dropsy, and Jesus addressed the lawyers and Pharisees. Is it against the law, he asked, to cure a man on the Sabbath or not? But they remained silent, so he took the man and cured him and sent him away. Then he said to them, which of you here, if his son falls into a well or his ox, will not pull him out on the Sabbath day without hesitation? And to this they could find no answer. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
So in Luke's Gospel, you always notice that he always wants to balance the gender. He always wants to do something for the male and do something for the female. Like today, we find this man who is sick with dropsy on a Sabbath day in front of everybody. And just a few days ago in Luke, we are reading today from Luke chapter 14. In chapter 13, we heard about the woman who was double bent, who was also brought into the synagogue and was healed. So a female and a male. We find something in the beginning of Luke's Gospel in chapter 7 of this woman who had lost the widow who had lost her only child. And Jesus raised the child, and the child became alive again. And in chapter 8, we find Jairus, whose daughter died, and invited Jesus, and Jesus raised the daughter. So you always find male, female, or like in this parable of the lost sheep. No, male always looking after the sheep, and then he finds this lost sheep, and he comes back home, and then that's in chapter 15, and then the following verses talks about the lost coin, which is about a woman. A woman is sweeping, he has to sweep and look for this lost coin. So there's always that gender equality Luke wants to bring about. And it's so important because this was not really something, Luke is writing to the unprivileged, to people who are always relegated to the background. And he wants to balance this gender, that what is done for men is also done for women. But most importantly, today in the gospel, we hear that when Jesus talks to them and he says, whom among you, if his son or an ox falls into a well, is not going to pull the child out immediately? Why do you think they do not answer this question? Why do you think that they remain silent? Because Jesus has an approach. He wants us to look not outside, but within ourselves. What is it that is happening? If we were in this situation, what would happen? And it makes the people to point back to themselves. What if you are the one in this kind of situation on the Sabbath? How will you feel? Will you be able to ask for healing? If your child falls in a well on a Sabbath, are you going to pull him out or say, no, it's the Sabbath, I'm not supposed to work on this day? And this is almost like what happens in John's Gospel chapter 8, where they brought this woman who was caught in the act of adultery. And they were about to stone her because of this. This is what the law of Moses says. And Jesus says, look back into yourselves. And he says, whoever has never sinned, let him be the first to throw the first stone. Whoever has never done anything bad, let him be the first to cast the first stone. And all of them left. It's almost like today, nobody talks about it again. After Jesus tells them about this well, everybody goes silent. Nobody is able to answer him. Just like the people in John's Gospel, they all leave and they do not do anything to this woman, because now they begin to look into themselves and they say, but as much as something is wrong with this woman, there is also something definitely wrong with me. And today in the Gospel, Jesus makes them to see, no, it is not about this man who, because of the situation, he is caught with this dropsy. I mean, dropsy is an illness where your body just begins to swell because of the accumulation of liquid in your body. Your body just begins to swell. And people go through a lot of pain when they are going through that. So now this person comes to the synagogue, maybe not even expecting he's going to find Jesus. And Jesus has pity on this person and then brings healing to this person. And he knows in the minds of the teachers of the law and the Pharisees is that why is he healing on the Sabbath? And Jesus brings them back to this. What if you were in this situation? It's so easy to judge, okay, when it is not about you. It is so easy to condemn when we are the ones who are not involved. But we must always think, what if we were in that situation? Or have I never found myself in a situation where I deserve to be condemned? That's why in Luke's Gospel, chapter 6, again it says, be merciful, just as your heavenly Father is merciful. Do not condemn, and you not be condemned. Do not judge, and you not be judged. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. And that is why we do not have any reason to judge others, because we ourselves are not there yet. We ourselves are not perfect yet. We are still on the journey towards perfection. But on this journey, we are at different levels. And you do not know where that person who you are condemning or judging is at. Maybe he's right in front of you, even. And this is why we have to begin to look back into ourselves silently, like the Father says, without saying a word, because we know we are sinners also. We know we are broken also. We know we are also weak. And therefore, we do not have a reason to begin to look outside at others and judging them. Jesus wants to pass one message to the people that it is not only about keeping the law, but it's about the love that we have for each other. It's not about keeping the Sabbath and keeping the law of Moses when we do not have love for each other. It is not about coming to church and praying and doing all the novenas when we can't live well with each other. It's so important that love overcomes everything. Love is above every other thing. It's above every law. It's about every institution. If we are in this church and we do not have love, if we feel that we are Christians and we do not have love, St. Paul says that we are like a gong just banging. So let us continue to ask God for the grace to love each other. And if we truly love each other, then we'll be merciful to them. We will not condemn them. We will not judge them. We will forgive them and will continue to accept them just as God accepts us freely.